Hey, what's up guys, it's Solo, back with another guide for Survivalist Invisible Strain. This is a farming and cooking guide. I'll just be covering a few basic tips when it comes to farming strats and some cooking recipes along with setting tasks such as organizations and policies. If you're new to Survivalist or new to the channel, please consider dropping a like. If this guide helped you in any way, it really does help the community grow, exposing more people to this hidden gem of the survival genre. With that being said, let's get this started. I won't be going in depth when it comes to the equipment, being that this guide requires to find most of the items needed in the world. In order to farm and cook, however, if you wanted a good head start, I can recommend these items as a selected loadout. First item I will be going over would be the shovel. It can be used to dig graves, pit traps with spikes in them if you have construction skill level 1. It can also be used to build wells, which requires a construction level 3 skill. You probably also need an axe to chop down some wood and a backpack to carry. With the axe, it chops down trees, also works on people. The axe has damage of 36%, causes a 10% fatigue. And then finally, the last item I'll recommend is a small backpack. You can't carry much without a backpack, and they are essential for carrying around heavy items such as wood or stone. A good honorable mention would be the toolbox. You can equip the toolbox to open up the construction menu and start building something. You have the shovel at 1 point, the axe at 1 point, the backpack and the toolbox at 2 points. Next, I'll be covering the skills. However, in this demonstration, I did increase my skill points manually for the purpose of this video. However, by playing vanilla, these are the recommended skill points that I personally use when it comes to a good farming or chef build. So first, I put 3 points in cooking. Cooking gives you more recipes for cooking at the campfire and makes you better at skinning animals, so you will yield more meat. Better food improves people's constitution and morale. So being a good chef, it'll leave your community in good feeling, as well make them tanky when it comes to constitution. So instead of dying instantly, most likely they will pass out, and depending on their constitution level is how long they are passed out for. Next, I place 2 points into farming. Farming increases the yield of your crops, meaning the more you'll get back in terms of harvesting and in terms of seeds. Farming is a good skill point to have when it comes to this. Then the last point, that is completely up to you. However, I decided to put it in fitness in order to have the endurance to farm and to cook. Fitness. How quickly you get tired when running, fighting, or performing chokeholds, indoor assassinations. How far you can throw things, and how much loot you can carry, which is very important in terms of harvesting. And that will be all for the skill points and the equipment. Now let's get started. First, if you started with a shovel and/or you looted a shovel, you can use the shovel to create a well. A well requires 20 stone and 4 pieces of wood planks. With a well, you simply equip the shovel, and then you'll have a few options, which you should see in your shovel menu. Having a well is a good water source for drinking and staying hydrated, as well for farming and cooking. Some recipes require water. This is one of the first things I recommend to prioritize, because the faster you can get a water well up, you can start building a good farm. It does require level 3 in construction, so I personally would do a little bit of construction work in order to get that well up. Next would be farm setting. I personally recommend prioritizing corn seeds and sunflower seeds due to the fact they later become a great resource in the mid to late game. You can use corn in order to create biofuel, which is used for gasoline for most of the vehicles in the game. You can also use sunflower seeds to create vegetable oil, which is also another good resource for gasoline for more of the advanced type vehicles, such as Humvees, ambulances, and dumpster trucks. With these seeds, you can set farm zone, letting you color code the area as to where you want to plant these seeds. I would personally recommend building a barrier around your farm zone. It could be something as simple as a picket fence and or a wooden wall, just to help keep animals, zombies, and or NPCs outside your farm area. When it comes to animals and zombies, they will eat your crops, and looters are notorious for stealing your crops when you're not looking. When it comes to the campfire, it requires 1 plank of wood and some matches or a hunting knife and flint to light it. This would be your primary source in terms of cooking recipes. Next, if available, I recommend you build a shack. It requires 9 pieces of wood planks, so that way, when your NPC is on autopilot and they are managing tasks, you can set policies on these shacks or any constructional item that you build that holds storage. When you set policies, your NPC will automatically place what you selected in that said storage unit. Sometimes I lose items, and that's just due to the fact I never set a policy on that item, so the NPC will place it somewhere random. To avoid this, make sure you set policies on all your storage units. Setting policies are also good for the organization task. You can set your characters for the role of organizer, and they will take the items that they have or elsewhere and place them in its proper policy setting. And then again, when setting roles, you can speed that role by selecting urgent in the task menu or hitting the sprint command, enabling your NPCs to urgently finish the task. If you do this with your community members, it can lower their morale and personal relationships. They will blame you for overly working them too hard. So be careful. Next, I'll be going over some cooking recipes, just covering the basics. If you're able to hunt rabbit for meat and or deer for venison, it should unlock a few recipes that's valuable for you early to mid and late game. Here are some basic crafting cooking recipes with each required item needed to cook. So for example, you have cooked chicken requires a skinned chicken, and it will yield 8 pieces. Boiled corn on the cob requires an ear of corn, some water, and there you go. For cooked rabbit, you do have to skin a rabbit, and in order to skin a rabbit, you have to be a certain level within your skill points. Cooked venison requires deer meat, and it can yield 4 pieces per 1 uncooked venison. Now this next section goes into more of the hearty meals, which I highly recommend you make lots of due to the fact that it will have a lot of constitutional points. The first one up is the meaty stew. Requires 1 piece of venison, 2 pieces of carrots, cabbages. When I was mentioning seeds to prioritize, I do recommend these seeds in order to create better meals. Preparing hearty meals increases your constitution, so other seeds to keep in mind while you're looting would be cabbage seeds, carrot seeds, which carrots is also good for hunting rabbits, chili seeds, which opens more recipes. However, some NPCs does not like spicy foods, however others don't mind it. Beet seeds for sugar, so you can create corn cookies, and cucumber seeds for salads, which is great if you're not able to find a pot and or a pan. You can just craft it by hand. You can also make meat curry with the exact same recipe from the meat stew. However, this requires chili. Here, with the meaty stew we just made, you can see the container is not even full, and we have 36 points of constitution in this container. You can see I have a bar of hunger, a little over a bar actually, and so when I eat it, you can see that it completely fills my character's stomach. And if you notice the blue line under constitution and the star points, we gained a lot of XP when it comes to constitution. These containers are great for carrying your meals And you can also use and gift these stews in these containers to other friendly or even enemy NPCs. Here, you can see we're making a curry with rabbit meat and chili. You can see how much extra constitution this adds with curry, almost 90 points. Curry is made in a pot, however, you can use the action menu to pour into the containers. Keep in mind, when you are planting crops, the less NPCs you have in your community, the less crops you can plant. So being mindful of how many recruits you have, because the more recruits equals the more you can plant crops. So go out there and recruit some refugees. You can gift these stews to enemy or refugees in order to convince them to join your community. Stews like such creates high morale for your community, and they will love you for it. Eggs is another good resource in terms of a cooking recipe. With eggs, you can make scrambled eggs. You can use eggs to make cookies. You can make boiled eggs along with water or vegetable oil. With eggs, it does require a frying pan. Depending on what you use will yield different results. Be very mindful that you're not using a fertilized egg. You cannot use fertilized eggs in order to create recipes. Now that we've recruited some more members, we can add on to our farm. Another good thing about having weather changes in this game is that when it rains, you shouldn't have to water your crops. Therefore, you could tell your community members or your character to take the day off. And now when you place your containers away, don't forget to set your policies on your storages so you know where your food is going. Another recipe I like is the salad. With the salad, this does not require a pot or a pan or even a campfire. All it requires is some of your vegetables, and then you can mix them together within your menu inventory. It does require 1 cucumber, 1 cabbage, 1 beet, 1 carrot, and 1 ear of corn. With that, you can scroll down and select make salad, and you have a decent amount of food, and it yields decent constitution points. With sugar, it requires a pot and 5 beets. Now, in order to make cookies, this will require a kiln. In order to construct a kiln, you do need a higher construction level skill, which I went over in the building and crafting guide. I recommend you check out that guide. It's a good starter guide in terms of how to build efficient bases and certain workstations. With the kiln, requires sugar and an ear of corn. Once that, you're able to make corn cookies. And as we wait here, you can see it's raining, so no need to set a task to start farming. And now that you have your cookies, you can be the good guy in your community and give some good sweets in the zombie apocalypse. But that is all, guys. That's all I have for today. I appreciate you stopping by and giving this guide a look at. If you made it this far to the video, please consider dropping a like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified and subscribe. And I recommend turning on those post notifications so you can be notified when the next guide comes out. and or any other videos related to Survivalist. Being that said, I hope y'all have a good weekend. This is Solo, and remember, solo never means alone, and in a world of noise, only the silent survives.